So the Air Jordan 1 Low 85 Bred Remastered. This is a really late review, probably more later than even Sneakonomics. However, you know, this particular pair, I decided that I wasn't going to buy them at retail, and I did go for obviously all the raffles and missed out on them, and I didn't want to line up at the shops and that kind of stuff really, and trying to sort of grab them from that perspective. And at the time there was probably too much hype around them, and all of a sudden everyone's sort of loving Jordan 1s again. But I like having the OG colorways in general, and I try to sort of pick them up as and when I can. And this one came up on the market on eBay. I've seen sort of prices starting to sort of tumble down a bit, and this one, you know, I didn't think it was that much over retail, and in all honesty I hit on 2 pairs of the Foamposite Galaxy, so the other pair that I sold was basically ended up paying for these for sort of retail really, so I didn't pay too much for these, which I'm kind of happy with. And you know, I wouldn't have paid the resale price for them, to be honest, because I feel like it's just too high. The Air Jordan 1 85 was originally released in 1985, and obviously it was made as a basketball trainer, and it was designed by Peter Moore, and obviously it was worn by Michael Jordan, and being his first silhouette. And this is a remastered to the closest version to the 85 cut, which I think is a really good thing. And I think there was another brand called something Boring Developers or something like that, who were creating 85 shaped sneakers for a long time before, you know, Jordan Brand decided to come out with this shape. So with the details, it comes in a Varsity red, black and white colourway, which you can sort of see, and probably don't need to explain that. It's pretty iconic and pretty, you know, everyone sort of knows about this colourway. And with these ones, they have an airbag unit in the heel, and it's encapsulated with a polyurethane midsole, and this is using a rubber cup outsole as well around the sneaker. And it's made up of all leather and synthetic materials, so the leather is pretty much all over the sneaker, and apparently the swoosh is made of synthetic, and you can probably see that in the light. It's slightly different in terms of the colour compared to the rest of the sneaker, but that's how the OG ones were. And the price for these were £195 retail, which is, I feel like, way too much for a pair of Jordan 1s. So with the comfort and sizing, much like any other Jordan 1 really, these are on the medium to firm side. They're sort of somewhere in between the old 85 shape and the, I suppose what they're calling the Air Jordan 1 high OGs now, you know, the contemporary shape, and the comfort is kind of in between those really. They kind of feel more like the contemporary OG shape in terms of comfort, and probably like less so like the 85 cuts that came before the version 1s. And again, like any other Jordan 1 really, it's not much support around the arch, it's a very sort of flat and low to the ground sneaker. I think the wearing time for these is probably around the 8 to 16 hours. I think like Jordan 1 85s usually sort of break in, you have to sort of break them in to make them work. And I have the metallic navy pair, the white pair that I've been wearing, and those haven't been too bad to break in, but in all honesty they've got probably slightly thinner leather to what's on here. This one is quite a thick cut leather in my opinion, and quite sort of sturdy, so that's the reason I've given 8 to 16 hours. And I do recommend, you know, going up a half size if you're on the wide foot. Because I picked these up quite cheap on eBay, I went with my true to size, which I can fit on a Jordan 1. Ideally I would have went a half size up, me personally, because I have a wide foot, but I found, you know, sort of undoing the laces and keeping them quite wide seems to be okay, and not cause issue on my sort of pinky toe forefoot area here on the side. And yeah, other than that I think it's good to go. I found obviously me loose lacing them up, the laces come a bit short, you know, so they're not on the top lace hole, so just be wary of that I guess. But other than that, you know, I think it works fine. It's like kind of in between of again, like the sizing, there's slightly less padding than a standard 85, but this remastered version is probably, like I said, more like the contemporary Jordan 1s in terms of their fit, but again they still feel a little bit tight compared to a standard Jordan 1. And much like any other Jordan 1, same outsole. This has got really great grip. I actually like the fact that they kind of got the curve going on the back now and on the heel, because when you're walking around in the rain it doesn't slip, and it almost sort of gives you that sort of brake type situation, so you can kind of, if you fall back on your heel you won't slip. I've noticed in the rain with the other Jordan 1s, because they're flat, you know, I feel like I do slip sometimes on the heel, but with this one, because it's curved at the back, you know, you'll kind of step onto that, you know, area and move up the forefoot, therefore you'll stop. So just you know, so little touches here and there which makes the sneaker. So with the look and style, I do like the classic OG colorway. I love the toe box shape, and because I reviewed the Royal version, low version first, you know, it's just got a really nice sort of sleek toe box. You can see that here, and it doesn't cause any sort of pain or discomfort on the front. And I also like, you know, the way the shape is of the midsole, outsole, because it's, you can see it's kind of going inwards, and also, like I said, the curvature at the bottom of the heel is really nice as well. And just overall, just the construction is really nice, and I actually like the fact that it's good quality leather as well, so I think it works well. And it's a classic at the end of the day. And these are good for like autumn winter time really. Obviously being a high cut, you know, it's quite protective, and also just being the dark colourway, you know, this sort of iconic colourway. I think these ones you can dress up casually, but maybe even going to a smart casual. Just depends on the outfit, and I think you can pull them off, especially if you've got trousers going over the ankle collar. And it comes with the black laces, but there's also a pair of red laces as well that you can put in there. So with the final thoughts, I do like the OG 85 cut. I just think it looks really cool, really sleek. And the same goes for the toe box as well. The toe box looks like the best thing on this, and they've done a really good job with that. And just overall, like, really great quality materials as well. So I, you know, I like the fact that they try to do something different, and you know, and try to sort of, they push, you know, the boat out to make sure for the 40th anniversary they've got something to show which is really, you know, true to the OG. And with the cons, the comfort is still not the amazing comfort. It's still got a bit of the same sort of Jordan 1 comfort, slightly better than the standard contemporary Jordan 1 OG, and probably you know, just a little bit above that. So, and also you need to have sort of braking time for these. So much like any other Jordan 1 85 high, because of the thick materials, they take time to break in. So with the ratings, I'm going to give the look a star 5. Obviously, it wouldn't go lower than that. It's a classic sneaker. Started Michael Jordan's career, and is just an iconic silhouette at the end of the day. Comfort, I'm going to go with a 4. I think, you know, they are pretty comfortable, quite sort of padded. So, you know, a 4 is probably right for these. And again, they feel supportive and stable. Quality, I'm going to go with a 5. I think, you know, materials on this is really nice. Obviously, the swoosh is synthetic, but that's how they originally came. But other than that, you know, there's no qualms really. I think the quality overall, in terms of, you know, having sort of glue stains, that kind of stuff, is very, very minimal. Pricing, obviously, that's an issue. They're priced way too high for what they are, and so that's the reason I've given it a 4. But overall, regardless of the hype, regardless of, like, you know, the limited sort of release that they try to do with these, it's still a really nice pair of sneakers. And it being like the 85 cut is just, you know, the sort of icing on the cake really. And if you can sort of pick them up now, especially because the price is sort of falling, definitely worth grabbing, because I feel like it will go back the other way and start to go up in price, especially because of the fact that they didn't release many of these